Hi cuties. So, nearly 5 years after the announcement trailer with Senua doing this freak ass shit, Ninja Theory has finally blessed us with Hellblade 2. Or rather, Senua Saga Hellblade 2. I don't know why they changed it, whatever. Anyways, after beating it, I needed some time to think upon what just transpired. Before I even say anything about the sequel, I want to preface, I fucking love Hellblade 1, alright? It's like a 10 out of 10 to me. A dope-ass, independent, $20 game with top-of-the-line graphics and an incredibly unique premise, with a super inspiring protagonist tackling issues that we quite literally never see in video games. So I've been patiently waiting for this sequel, fully expecting something that expands upon the original, and I am sad to report it does not do that, and in some areas it even regresses, but we'll talk about that later. For now, let's just dive balls deep into the story, okay? Basically, in this game, Senua is trying to stop the slaver Northmen from kidnapping and slaughtering her people, and of course everything goes to hell in a handbasket, as my mama would say. The story then evolves from there. I won't be spoiling specifics because this game just fucking released, but I will say that narratively, I honestly think Hellblade 2 falls flat on its face in like the first 3 hours, bruh. The second half is significantly better story-wise, but even the ending is not really the best either. I would like to say more, but just play the game if you're curious, dog. It's on Game Pass. Ninja Theory made a post on Twitter which felt like a goodbye to me, so I don't know if that's referencing them being done with Senua's story or as a studio because of the recent Xbox closures. I hope it's not either, as I would still graciously accept another Hellblade game from this very talented ass studio. Hellblade 1 really felt like narratively it stood for something. It has a very satisfying, conclusive character arc, and of course the ending basically confirms a sequel was bound to happen. But Hellblade 2 just shows me that maybe that shouldn't have been the case. Senua's psychosis this time around is hella dumbed down, resorted to essentially added context narration and puzzle spoilers, to be honest, dog. It really reminds me like when you play God of War Ragnarok or some shit like that and Atreus dumbass is just spoiling the whole thing for you, like, "Father, did you try spitting on this wheel upside down?" Like, bro, let me do it myself, damn. What's crazy too is that the puzzles in Hellblade 2 are like, oh my god, man. Let me put it to you like this. About halfway through the game, chapter 3-ish, you do these sequences of puzzles by looking at some bubbles and moving balls. Like, there's nothing to it beyond that. You are simply focusing on bubbles and shifting balls around. Now listen, I wasn't expecting Silent Hill note reading and pop quizzes galore or anything, but the gimmick of focusing on shit was just done better in the first game because it was still hella fresh and sometimes even stumped my dumb ass. When you do the focus puzzles in this game where you have to find shit in the environment to line up the symbols with, I swear to god, this shit has Black Ops 2 lock-on aimbot. It just slurps the camera and completes it for you. I honestly don't think I had to genuinely use my brain once. I was not gaining any wrinkles in this bastard upstairs, y'all. I feel so fucking bad shitting on this game like this, but I swear to god, you can play this game with one hand, especially with all the walking segments where you are simply pushing up on the left stick and doing nothing else. Granted, in those walking sequences, you are looking at perhaps the greatest technical feat in modern gaming. I mean, this game looks deliciously edible. I will say, I hate the letterboxing, and I truly believe there's never been a game where letterboxing was needed. I do not care how cinematic it looks. Like, come on, Evil Within, who told you to do that shit, bro? The 30 frames per second debacle in this game didn't even bother me though, because it really is a playable movie for better or worse. You may be thinking, oh my goodness, Jack the Ripper, what's your honest, correct opinion regarding the combat? Well, my cuties, it's just as repetitive as everything else in this game. There's light and heavy attacks, parries, and focus slowdown bullet time thing. I mean, that's it. Every encounter, you're just running the ones with these bastards. You never get to mink up groups of enemies or have to worry about anything except for the one motherfudger in front of you. And once again, you could really fight them with one hand, y'all. The animation and mocap work here is absolutely insane though, and it feels really heavy, chunky, impactful, especially with Senua's fantastic performance, guttural screams and all, but yeah, there's not even any boss fights in this game either. Sorry to report. Once again, I don't expect to be fighting fucking Virgil from DMC3 or Zeus or something, but you would expect at least like one solid boss fight, especially in a game that has literal giants. That's not a spoiler, by the way, it was in the trailer. But yeah, I tried to avoid all reviews of this game when I woke up on the day of its release, but I did see some of the negative ones, and pretty much everything that they were saying about how the giants really just end up being used for chase scenes was true and saddening. Like I said, bro, I feel so bad shitting on this game because it's not like the worst game of all time, and there's certainly a lot of shit here to love. And I'd even recommend it to people who love the first game as well, because for the most part, I do feel like I'm in the minority. Ninja Theory is a smaller sized team, around 120 people I want to say, but they did take at least 6 years to make this game, which led me to believe that they were crafting a longer, deeper narrative-driven experience with perhaps more moves in Senua's toolbox, a better human story, seeing as how this game actually has side characters, which is like, yo, I'm actually talking to another human being right now, this is dope. I'm not a game dev, and I'm hella ignorant to how making a game works, but I can still feel disappointment in the fact that they took this long to create a 5 to 6 hour title that really didn't do anything differently but remove boss fights, simplify puzzles, and of course increase the graphical fidelity. Let me say too, I would be so okay with it being 5 hours if it was just a very impactful 5 hours all the way through. I actually love beating a game in one day. It makes me feel accomplished and not like I'm wasting my time or some shit. To put something else in perspective, A Plague Tale Innocence and Plague Tale Requiem both dropped in between Hellblade 1 and 2's release windows, and is actually a great example of a fantastic, mainly narrative experience that improved in all areas with the sequel. Two different studios and developers, I get it, but it just made me sad to realize just how long they took to make Hellblade 2, and I just wanted more, dude! If you are excited about playing Hellblade 2, or even just want to check out Hellblade 1, I would still say you absolutely should. Do not let my silly whittle opinion deter you in any way. Even though I'm always correct, you could think or feel differently, and that's great. According to Jez Corden, Ninja Theory's next game has been greenlit already, which makes me feel slightly better about their fate, as I still believe they got what it takes to make another banger-ass vidya game. At the end of the day, bro, the Hellblade games are super cinematic, one-of-a-kind experiences, and it's on Game Pass, so fuck it, give it a shot still. This is the third AAA game this year to severely let me down though, joining the ranks of Stellar Blade and Dragon's Dogma 2, y'all. And as for the trademark certified Ripper ranking system, I feel I must plug in Hellblade 2 at a fair 5, maybe light 6 rips out of 10. Hellblade 1, I feel, has a better story, cooler puzzles, and it was so fresh at the time coming from an indie studio, so it was just hella easy to root for. They're now owned by Microsoft and had a bigger budget this time around, I'm sure of that, so to see them pretty much not take any risks here was quite disappointing. I don't feel like ending this negatively, so let me sing some praises about this game before I let y'all go. That cool? Honestly, best graphics I've ever seen in my entire life, dog. I thought Last of Us had good facial animations, but that shit is PS1 Hagrid when comparing to the grimacing pain face Senua inflicts on her foes or even has done to her. I mean, there were moments where I would just sit and where I would just sit and stare at the game, waiting for a cutscene to continue. Then I realized, bitch, I'm actually playing right now. Like, the transition from gameplay to cutscene was executed perfectly in this game. I talked about how the narrative wasn't really that good in the beginning to middle area, in my opinion, but in the second half, once you start interacting with the side characters more and learn their motivations, it unraveled into something more easily digestible and downright fascinating before it abruptly kind of ended. I understand what they were going for with the ending. It's kind of on some Last of Us 2 type shit, no spoilers. It just sucked because Hellblade 2 felt like it was peaking at that moment, and then bow, credits rolled, whatever. Shout out to Ninja Theory though. I still love y'all very much, and I hope your next game doesn't take as long to develop. Please, I want to hear from y'all more often. But yeah, sorry for how negative this shit is, my cuties, but that's life, huh? I thought about not making this video because I love the series so much and I hate having to discuss it in such a negative manner, but I feel it was necessary and I tried to be as fair as possible. If you strongly disagree or simply want to start a dialogue, drop a stinky little comment and I'll happily talk to you about this title, no problems. That's about it though, my yummies. Drop a sword slash on the like button, maybe a guttural scream on the subscribe, and I love you guys.
Bye!